Dear children, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh is a well known Indian writer. In this story, The Portrait of a Lady, Khushwant Singh has given an account of his grandmother. He draws a lifelike portrait in which he mentions that his grandmother was a very old lady. Her face was wrinkled, her hair were white. It was hard to believe that once she had been young and pretty. Okay, so right from childhood, he found his grandmother very old. His grandfather's picture hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban. They were Sikh, so they used to wear big turbans. And his clothes were very loose. He looked at least 100 years old, and it was hard to believe that he had once a wife or children. So his grandparents looked very old right from childhood to Khushwant Singh. Now Khushwant Singh's grandmother was a short lady. She was fat and slightly bent, and she couldn't walk properly straight, and she hobbled around the house. She had to keep one hand on her waist, and it was to balance her stoop, and in the other she held a rosary. She was always telling the beads of rosary. So she was very religious lady, okay, always praying. Her lips constantly moved in prayer. And she put on white clothes also. Her silver locks scattered over her pale face, and she looked like snowy mountains in winter. So this is how he found his grandmother. She was a picture of peace and contentment. Yes, she was. As the lesson progresses, then we get to know that she really was a picture of peace and contentment. She was very old. Perhaps she could not have looked older. She looked the same for last 20 years. Khushwant Singh and his grandmother were very good friends. Dear children, his parents went to city and they left him with his grandmother in the village, and she used to take care of him. So that was the first phase of their relationship. She used to wake him up in the morning. She got him ready for the school. She said her morning prayers in a sing-song manner, and she hoped that Khushwant Singh will also learn it by heart. But he liked her voice, but he never bothered to learn it. He would bother to learn it. And she had she would take an earthen pot and a reed pen. Okay, she used to get him ready for the school, and these are the things which she used to pack for him. She would tie them in a bundle, a slate, then ink pot, a reed pen in a bundle, and hand it to Khushwant Singh. She would give him a thick stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it. It was his breakfast. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village talks. His grandmother used to go to school with him because the school was attached to the temple, and there during those days the priest, they were the ones who used to give education. So the children sat in 2 rows in the veranda. They would sing the alphabets or the prayers in chorus, and while grandmother used to either read the holy books or count the beads of rosary, and she used to feed the village dogs also with those stale chapatis. The narrator's parents sent for them in the city. It was a turning point in their relationship. So the second phase started when he went to city to his parents along with his grandmother. Now they shared the same room. But grandmother no longer went to school with him because he was being sent to an English medium school, and he used to go by motor bus. And there were no street dogs, so grandmother took to feeding the sparrows. Years rolled by, and they saw very less of each other, and sometimes she would ask him what the teacher had taught him, and she did not believe in the things they taught at the school because Western science was taught in the school. Moreover, the lessons were given in English, and she couldn't help him with his lessons. She wasn't happy with the teaching because there was no teaching about God and the scriptures at school. The narrator one day told his grandmother that they were being given music lessons. She was disturbed because according to grandmother, music is quite indecent. Okay, because according to her, she thought that music quite was meant for beggars or harlots. So it had lewd association. Lewd means very obscene or not good, respectable, not respectable. For her, it was good only for prostitutes and beggars. It was not meant for folks. The narrator went to university. He was given a room of his own. So the common link of friendship was broken. So that was the third phase of their relationship. Grandmother accepted her loneliness quietly. She was always busy with the spinning wheel and reciting prayers, and she rarely talked to anyone. And in the afternoon, she relaxed for a while. Then she would feed the sparrows. She sat in the veranda. She broke the bread into little beds. Then she would throw them to sparrows. The writer says that hundreds of sparrows came there. They created a hell of noise. Some came and sat on her legs. Otherwise would sit on her shoulder. Some would sit even on her head. She smiled but never frightened them away. And feeding the sparrows was the happiest half hour of the day. Dear children, later the narrator decided to go abroad for higher studies. He was to remain away for 5 years. The grandmother was very old and she could die any moment. The narrator was worried. But grandmother was not upset. She showed no emotion. She came to the railway station to see him off. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayers. And her fingers were busy telling the beads of the rosary. She kissed his forehead silently, and the narrator thought that it was the last sign of physical contact. But she proved him wrong. Okay, because when the narrator returned home after 5 years, the grandmother met him at the station. She did not look a day older. She held him in her arms and kept on reciting her prayers the way she always used to do. And in the afternoon, she fed the sparrows as usual, but in the evening, a change came over her. She didn't pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood. She got an old drum. She continued thumping the old drum for several hours. She started singing. She was so happy that her grandchild was home. She sang of the homecoming of warriors. They had to persuade her to stop. She might overstrain herself, and it was for the first time that she had forgotten to pray. And the next morning she fell ill. She had a mild fever, and she told them that her end was near. Dear children, she realized that she had forgotten to pray. She didn't want to talk. It would be waste of time. So she ignored their respect to talk. She lay peacefully in bed and she was praying and telling the beads of the rosary, her steps. And after some time, her lips stopped moving. The rosary fell down from her lifeless fingers. Her face looked pale but peaceful. So very peacefully, she passed away. She was laid on the ground and was covered with a red shawl. The arrangements were being made for the funeral. Now it was evening, the sun was setting. They brought a wooden stretcher. They stopped halfway in the courtyard because thousands of sparrows sat near her dead body, whose grandmother's dead body. And children, they did not cheer up. Everyone felt sorry for the birds. The narrator's mother brought some bread. She broke it into little crumbs and gave it to the sparrows. But the birds took no notice of them. Then they carried her dead body away. The sparrows flew away quietly. Okay, so they were there just to bid farewell to that lady. The crumbs of bread still remained lying there in the courtyard, and evidently the sparrows had come to mourn the death of grandmother. So this is what the story is all about. So